Hey, all right, guys, I am back. It took me just a few minutes to get all my ducks in a row. So this live, what I wanted to do, first of all, if you've not been here before, welcome to my channel. This is Elizabeth, and we're looking at Letcher County and some of the um, fishy things that have been going on. Um, this one is going to be about ARC and about how it's connected. Um, ARC is the treatment facility that is around here. Let's see. Let me get over here to where I want to start. First off, though, I wanted to take a look at a case that was a couple of years ago and kind of just show you what has happened here in the past. Okay, this is from the United States Attorney's Office. This was a press release that was shared or put out March 8th, 2022. And this is about another treatment facility that was in this area. I don't think they might have had an office here in Whitesburg. I think they did at one time. They had several different offices. When the opioid problem became big, medically assisted treatment also became a very profitable business in this area because there were so many people that were affected by the painkillers that just absolutely decimated this area. And one of the ways that they got people was through their Medicaid. People would go to their appointments and they would make them pay in cash for their counseling services. And it was just a big mess the way that they did it all. But let's read what the press release said from the United States Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Kentucky. Pikeville, Kentucky, Eugene Sisco III, 36, of Pikeville, Kentucky, was sentenced Tuesday to serve 125 months in prison by U.S. District Judge Robert E. Weir. We've heard that name before. After a jury convicted him in November 2021 of wire fraud and healthcare fraud. According to the trial evidence, Sisco operated several medication-assisted treatment MAT clinics in Pike, Floyd, and Harlan counties that offered treatment to patients suffering from opioid addiction. These clinics were enrolled as providers in the Kentucky Medicaid program, and under Kentucky law, were required to bill that insurance program for MAT services rendered to Medicaid patients. The evidence demonstrated that Sisco deceived patients into paying $200 to $300 per month in cash for treatment at his clinics, despite having Medicaid insurance, by falsely claiming his clinics were not eligible to bill Medicaid for certain services they provided. The evidence at trial showed that the cash payments from patients totaled around $5 million between May 2016 and October 2019. Most of it from Medicaid beneficiaries for whom the services should have cost nothing. At the same time, Sisco caused his clinics to bill Medicaid for MAT services, receiving millions in reimbursements from that program as well. So this is not a new thing. This has been happening for a very, very long time. I'll say something more about it here in just a minute. The jury also found that Sisco engaged in a healthcare fraud scheme by causing his laboratory, Toxperts LLC, to bill for medically unnecessary urine rug testing of samples collected from patients at his clinics. The physician witnesses at trial testified that they did not order this urine rug testing and that some of it was done at Sisco's direction for billing purposes, as opposed to any medical reason. Sisco is not a doctor or medical professional. At sentencing, Judge Weir found that this fraud caused a loss of more than $2 million to the Medicaid and Medicare programs. Under federal law, Sisco must serve 85% of his prison sentence. In addition, Sisco was ordered to pay $5.7 million in restitution. Sisco will be under the supervision of the U.S. Probation Office for 3 years following his release from prison. Carlton S. Scheer, IV, United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky, Jody Cohen, Special Agent in Charge, FBI, Louisville Field Office, Daniel Cameron, Attorney General of Kentucky, and Colonel Philip Burnett Jr., Commissioner, Kentucky State Police, announced the sentence. The investigation was conducted by FBI, KSP, and the Office of the Attorney General. Office of Medicaid Fraud and Abuse. The United States was represented in the case by Assistant U.S. Attorney Paul McCaffrey. And that was the end of it. That was a big, big thing here. Like I said, when treatment started coming, medically assisted treatment started coming into this area, they just saw how easy it was to set up these clinics. And you didn't have to be a doctor or anything to set up these clinics. You could be anybody. You set up the base, and then you contract doctors to come in, and you contract the counseling services to come in, and it is a money pot. I mean, it just is. Okay, so let me move this one out, and we're going to go look at, we read this other article the other day when I did it, but I want to reread it just for anybody because it ties into this video and the point that we're trying to make with this. Okay. Now, this is an article that this newspaper the Kentucky Lantern, whenever I went researching and read other articles, all those other articles were referencing the Kentucky Lantern. So they were referencing this specific article. They're the ones who announced this. Addiction Recovery Company under FBI investigation, reducing staff, blames reimbursement cuts. Okay, now this is ARC. This is now. This is the one that's being investigated by the FBI. Kentucky's largest provider of rug and alcohol treatment is cutting staff and restructuring some services, citing significant cuts in Medicaid reimbursement from the government health plan that covers almost all of its clients. Addiction Recovery Care, or ARC, based in Louisa, said in a statement Thursday that as a result of cuts in payment for addiction and mental health services, we have had to make difficult decisions impacting some of our staff members. The staff cuts come after a dispute with the private insurance companies that process and pay most of Kentucky's Medicaid claims. ARC declined to say how many of its 1,350 employees would be affected, but said we are doing everything we can to support the affected individuals during this transition. It provided no further details. Out of respect for our employees, we do not discuss personal matters, the company said. And remember, this guy, Tim Robinson, the CEO, he's a lawyer himself by trade. So he doesn't need a lawyer to tell him what to say. He already is one, so he knows. ARC also is reorganizing some of its operations in Louisa, the small eastern Kentucky town where the for-profit company, now remember, this is not a nonprofit, this is a for-profit company, is based and the home of its founder and CEO, Tim Robinson. Robinson, a lawyer and recovering drinker who started the company that became ARC in 2010, has emerged as a politically well-connected figure and major political donor, of course. A lantern analysis by Tom Loftus showed that Robinson, his corporations, and employees have made at least $570,000 in political contributions over the past decade, as his for-profit company grew from a single halfway house to about 1,800 residential beds and outpatient care for hundreds more clients. Wow. I mean, you go from one halfway house to over 1,800. So you do the math on all that stuff. It's unreal. Except for money given to political committees supporting Governor Andy Beshear, a Democrat, virtually all of the rest went to Republicans, like former Governor Matt Bevin, Attorney General Russell Coleman, U.S. Representative Hal Rogers, and candidates for the Kentucky legislature. Beshear has praised ARC for its role in helping the state deal with the wave of addiction that engulfed Kentucky in recent decades. And just something to point out too, Governor Matt Bevin is the one who gave the pardon to one of the preachers that we're going to look at in this video. Okay. Beshear has praised ARC for its role in helping the state deal with the wave of addiction that engulfed Kentucky in recent decades. With the help of organizations like ARC, we are working to build a safer, healthier Commonwealth for our people, Beshear said, speaking at a ribbon cutting in March for a new ARC facility in Greenup County at the former Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital in Ashland. A spokesman for the State Cabinet for Health and Family Services, which administers Medicaid, said that the Beshear administration supports Medicaid services for those in need of addiction or mental health treatment and is seeking ways to expand them. As for the rate dispute between ARC and the managed care companies, those companies are contractually obligated to ensure members have access to appropriate medical care. The spokesman said in a statement, adding, "We have no comment on the operational structure of addiction recovery care, ARC, but these provider types are an essential resource to help individuals break the cycle of addiction." Robinson, a lifelong Republican, has praised Beshear as a skilled political leader, saying, "I hope he runs for president." Enter the FBI. The cuts are the latest setback for the fast-growing company. This was why I wanted to read this article. The cuts are the latest setback for the fast-growing company that last year took in $130 million in state Medicaid funds and has expanded from a single halfway house to a statewide network of recovery programs and residential centers in 24 counties across Kentucky. In July, the FBI announced it was investigating ARC for possible health care fraud and asking anyone with information to contact the federal agency. An FBI spokeswoman in a statement Tuesday said it had no new information to share about the status of the investigation, but said the agency is still accepting information through an online site and on its website. ARC has said it is cooperating. We are confident in our program and in the services that we offer. We and our legal counsel are cooperating fully. Let's see. All right, now, I'm not going to read the rest of that. Really, all I was wanting to see. Let's see. Let me read this one here. It says, news of the FBI investigation became public just a few days after ARC executives appeared before a Kentucky legislative committee to protest cuts in reimbursement from some of the 6 national health insurance companies known as managed care organizations, or MCOs, that oversee most of the state's $1.6 billion a year Medicaid program. Okay, so, and I put the link to each of these articles and stuff in the description of this video. So if anybody wants to go and read the full thing, be my guest. All right, now this is the form that's being sent out by the FBI. There's a link to this in the description of this video. And let's see what it's asking. Seeking information in the Addiction Recovery Care Investigation, FBI. The FBI's Louisville division is seeking information in the healthcare fraud investigation of Addiction Recovery Care, LLC, ARC. ARC is a substance abuse treatment provider headquartered in Louisa, Kentucky, with residential and outpatient treatment facilities across Kentucky. No criminal charges have been brought against ARC at this time. If you believe you were victimized by ARC or have any information relevant to this investigation, please fill out this short form. The FBI is legally mandated to identify victims of federal crimes it investigates. Victims may be eligible for certain services, restitution, and rights under federal and or state law. Your responses are voluntary, but may be useful in the federal investigation and to identify you as a potential victim. Based on the responses provided, you may be contacted by the FBI and asked to provide additional information. All identities of victims will be kept confidential. And it looks like a very basic form. It just has your name, your personal information, and then it has a questionnaire. Were you a patient at an ARC facility between January 1st and the present, 2019? Let's see. Please list any medical procedures, exams, or services from ARC that you believe were not medically necessary or were not adequately rendered due to facility conditions, staffing issues, or other reasons. If you have made a report about ARC previously, please identify the person or entity that you contacted, local law enforcement, FBI, etc. Please provide the details or the dates of your employment and your position. Oh, were you an employee of ARC between January 1st, 2019 and the present? Please list any medical procedures, exams, or services that at ARC that you believe were not medically necessary, were not adequately rendered, or were not billed appropriately to health insurance providers. If you have made a report about ARC previously, please identify the person or entity that you contacted, local law enforcement, FBI, etc. Do you have any other information that may be pertinent to this investigation? And then that's it. That's all they're asking on the form. And so if you're afraid, a lot of people, I think, might be afraid to do this. So don't be afraid. If you have some information, let them know, because they're not going to be able to do anything if they don't have the information. Okay, let me go up here. And let me go ahead and close these out that I've already done. And I put, like I said, I think I said it, I put the link in the description. Okay, inside. Let me see if this is the one. Okay, addiction recovery care. This is from the Lexington Herald Leader. Addiction recovery care says recent layoffs and closures are not related to the FBI investigation. Kentucky's largest addiction recovery provider has abruptly closed 5 facilities in its flagship city of Louisa, laying off employees and transporting dozens of clients to its other facilities. A spokesperson for addiction recovery care would not tell the Herald Leader exactly how many employees or clients have been impacted by the move, citing medical privacy and personal concerns. Additionally, the company would not name the specific facilities that are closed. ARC spokesperson Kyle Collier said Thursday the business was forced to make difficult decisions as a result of impending and significant reimbursement cuts for addiction and mental health service providers. This announcement comes a month after the FBI launched a probe into the recovery network for potential healthcare fraud. ARC has not been charged, and it is cooperating with the investigation. According to Collier, the closures of facilities is not related to the FBI's inquiry. Since opening in 2010, ARC has grown and expanded its operation with the stated goal of helping to stem the tide of the drug crisis across Kentucky, an epidemic fueled by pain pills, I guess. The for-profit company, which began with one addiction treatment facility in Louisa, owns and operates around 40 treatment centers across the state. ARC is the top contributor to Kentucky's distinction of having the most residential treatment beds per capita in the country. But that's beginning to change. When pressed, ARC told the Herald Leader Thursday it had made difficult decisions impacting some of our staff members. The company blamed the reduction on impending and significant reimbursement cuts for addiction and mental health service providers. This is not a decision we made lightly, and we're doing everything possible to support the affected individuals during this transition. One of the 5 facilities is being renovated and will reopen in 2025, Collier confirmed. The other 4 are being repurposed for workforce housing for people receiving college certificates and vocational training. The spaces are not currently housing individuals for addiction recovery efforts. One temporarily closed facility includes the Carpenter's Village in Owsley County for essential renovations to enhance the facility, Collier confirmed. ARC would not disclose all the facilities affected by the closures. Additionally, Collier said as part of the business's ongoing commitment to their touted crisis to career model, The decision was made to transition some Louisa facilities to workforce housing for clients pursuing college certifications and vocational training to best help Kentuckians achieve successful long-term recovery. The claim that ARC is facing reimbursement cuts, which resulted in shuttered facilities and layoffs, come around 3 weeks after the founder and CEO, Tim Robinson, bragged about upcoming expansions. Robinson, an ordained minister, spoke at ARC's monthly 3-hour gathering, which brings together hundreds of clients who are currently matriculating through their program. He assured ARC's continued growth. The organization still plans to open its first center in Virginia, Collier said. He did not say when. And Robinson told the crowd of clients that more space has been leased in Bowling Green for a future outpatient center, which he said will become ARC's West Kentucky hub. ARC is also renovating facilities in Edina, Ohio, and it just acquired the Southeastern Beauty Academy in Paintsville. Okay, let's see. No matter what storms are raging, this boat is floating, Robinson told the hundreds of clients at an Indiana church in late August. With your help, we're winning in our state. We're winning as an organization, and as we continue to work through some choppy waters, just keep looking for that walk on water moment. Okay. Now, let me go over here, and we're going to see inside ARC. All right. This is inside ARC, Michael Clark's story. Now, this is on the ARC Addiction Recovery Care website. And if you see, this was February 23rd, 2023. And the video has been taken down or has been changed to private. I'm not sure why. Michael Clark is, well, let's just read it. With thousands battling addiction across Kentucky and hundreds passing away yearly in our communities, Addiction Recovery Care brings the discussion and solutions to your televisions. Inside ARC is a 30-minute show is centered around real people, stories, and conversations. The show airs Thursday nights at 7 p.m. and again Friday at 10 a.m. on WYMT TV in Hazard, Kentucky. I wanted to be the best rug reeler out there. Episode 2 features Addiction Recovery Care Community Liaison and Letcher County Pastor Michael Clark. He grew up in Harlan County, played sports, and was a high-performing student. However, after parties would lead Michael down a difficult road, he spent years battling addiction. I have goals and dreams today. A few years ago, Michael entered treatment, and as the old saying goes, the rest is history. I started to dream again, said Clark. I had gone my whole life since I was a child, and I hadn't dreamed. I had given up on everything I had ever wanted. Clark finished his education, earning a degree. He now works in jails, courtrooms, and communities across eastern Kentucky, helping others discover long-term recovery. Possibly most importantly, he rooted a church in downtown Whitesburg, got married, and owns a home. I'm still dreaming. I'm still believing my best days are in front of me, added Clark. I couldn't be at my son's baseball games. I was banned from the field. I'm the baseball coach now. I wasn't there to see my daughter start high school, but I helped my daughter pack up, and she's in pharmacy school now. I'm the dad she always needed. Okay, so that is on the ARC website. This is a video. Well, let's go here. Okay. This is from WYMT Mountain News. Addiction recovery care employee creates church in Letcher County. This was February 6, 2022. This was published. Whitesburg, Kentucky. A new church in Letcher County held its first ever service Sunday. Created by former drug addict and addiction recovery care employee Michael Clark. The group is called Rooted Church. Clark said that they will currently be hosting services at Kane Kitchen in Whitesburg. He added their own building is just on the horizon. It's about 12,000 square feet in Isom. We'll be able to run a soup kitchen out of it through the week, Clark said. A resource center, but that's a little bit down the road. Right now, we're just trying to get in here, gather together, get our membership up, and go see what's next. Clean since 2016, Clark said he found a purpose in creating a new church for the area. Clean and sober, going on 6 years, he said. I just feel like I need a place where we can go and rescue the lost and equip the saints to achieve their God-given destiny. Clark said he has seen support from family, friends, and those at ARC. A lot of weight on taking the role of pastor, but I believe God. If he's called you, he'll fulfill that work, and I'm just excited to get going, he said. Just see what's going to happen here in Whitesburg and Letcher County. That support also came from church member Corey Bailiff. He said he wanted to help out the cause immediately. To see what the Lord has actually out together in such a quick amount of time. I guess that should have meant put together. From just figuring out where we're going to meet at to now. For now, maybe, Bailiff said. Looking at permanent places and everything and just seeing it. Lord's just through and through with it. Bailiff said he agreed and related to the church's philosophy. What a lot of people think of church is a building that we go to on Sundays. The actuality of it is that church is supposed to go out and be the church Monday through Saturday, he said. Get together on Sunday for praise and worship, and then be the church throughout the rest of the week. Clark said they are ready to get started. Members of Rooted Church said they are staying community-minded in their approach. The Bible says God doesn't look on the outer as man does, but he looks at the heart, Clark said. We're just here to see hearts change, see lives transform, and see true revival in Whitesburg. Rooted Church said they want to thank everyone who attended the first service. Clark added they are looking forward to many more. And let's watch the video. No sound on the video? Thank you, honey. Mm. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Everything I read in that article right before we saw the video, word for word what I read is what they said. So it must have been the transcript of the video. Okay, I'm sorry. Thanks for letting me know. All right. Now, let me know if you hear the volume on this one. No sound? Hmm. I wonder why that's happening. No sound on that one either. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see. I've got it up on my end all the way. Let me stop sharing it and let me try it again. Let me try to share it this other way. Let's try the window.
Four times today, and
You hear it now?
you just really need to be praying and quit gossiping and spreading rumors, because you're going to be really surprised when absolutely nothing that you've been
All
posting
right,
and
let me go
saying is
back
true or
and
accurate. And I have for a second. Been a real rough night and day since yesterday. You all, I'm sure, have known and seen nationwide now what all happened. Multiple news agencies continue to reach out to me. I'm not going to be able to comment to them or anything like that, but I have spoken to the sheriff's wife and daughter and talked to her a couple of times today. And, you just really need to be praying and quit gossiping and spreading rumors, because you're going to be really surprised when absolutely nothing that you've been posting and saying is true or accurate. And I have permission from the family to say that. Mental illness is real. People go through hard things that we don't know what they're going through. Bottom line, one of my best, closest, dearest friends, Judge Mullins, was killed yesterday, and one of my best, closest friends, Sheriff Mickey Steins, is locked up and charged with murder. The motive and everything will come out, and everyone will eventually know why. And it's not going to be nothing the reason that not you, but many are spreading and talking and hurting children. That the judge has a wife and children that's hurting. The sheriff has a wife and a child who I've spoke to twice today, who are truly hurting. I love you all. I love Letcher County. I'm there every day. I work there. I've got a church there. My heart is there. And what this community needs is prayers, kindness, and mercy. And if you do not know and don't have firsthand knowledge of something, why in the world would you get on there spreading lies and rumors? I don't get it. I don't get it. And you ought to be ashamed, because there's a little girl of the sheriff's that's devastated by these rumors. And there's also little girls who lost a father. And we need to think about that. Continue to pray for everyone that was involved. Thank God for the first responders that was there within minutes. Thank God for protecting me, who was with the sheriff all day yesterday, and the judge. And thank God, by the grace of God, that I'm alive. And just pray for our community for healing to come about. I love you all. God bless you all. And have a great day.
All right. So that is Michael Clark. Let me get over here. Okay. So that was Michael Clark, and he is the community liaison, which is, I don't know if he has an office or if he just sits in the courtroom all day, but he always stays at Letcher County Courthouse because they have such a big well, I don't know what the right word is to say. When he only stayed one night and was kicked out the next day. And from what if I'm not mistaken, I think this was still when Ben Fields was working, allegedly. Let me say that all through this. So this has been a long time ago. And I asked him if he had spoke to the FBI, if he had filled out that form. And he said no. I think a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are afraid they'll be labeled a snitch. A lot of people are afraid that, like I said the other day, it's the consequences of speaking out. If you live in a home that, you have to pay rent to somebody, or if you or a loved one is employed under someone involved. There's a lot. Somebody somebody corrected me from yesterday. Thank you very much. I said money was the root of all evil, and she corrected me and said it was the love of money was the root of all evil. Yeah, and I'm sorry. She is so right. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. It's bad, y'all. It's bad. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at here. I hope that people have the nerve to come forward. Well, you just think I don't know what the numbers would be like, but for every one that does come forward, I bet you have so many that won't, because they're scared. But I want to know the other side of the numbers. I want to know how many people actually are successful and doing well on the other side of graduation. We have all these numbers of all these people that have went, and in that one Soar Summit video that we saw of Judge Mullins talking about his treatment going through his courtroom, that they only had 5 out of all those people who had went. They only had 5 that were working long, that were doing really well and working in the community and had full-time jobs. That's what stuck in my mind, was that they had full-time jobs. So, you know, I think this is going to be really, really big. I think it'll end up being really, really big because, you know, Medicaid fraud is they'll get you on that quick. So these doctors and facilities who accept Medicaid and bill Medicaid, I hope they're doing everything correctly, you know, because, you know, the criminal justice system expects us to do what's right. You know, they expect us to abide by the laws. They expect us to be of a certain level and stand and behave at a certain level and standard. And, you know, we shouldn't be belittled and bullied and treated poorly if you speak up or speak out against corruption and unethical behavior and those kinds of actions. But I didn't mean to stay on here for a whole hour. Thank you everybody for coming and listening and joining. I'd like to hear what you all have to say. Let's see. I'll look at some of these comments. We got Pinto, Brad R, Lisa Laney. Hello, honey. Buckwheat, Philadelphia says hello, by the way. Buckwheat. Hello, honey. Kentucky Rose. What is the FBI investigating about ARC? Sounds very vague. I think we've answered that now. Medicaid fraud, honey. Let's see. Paulette Kelly. No sound. Thank you. I appreciate y'all helping me. Sometimes this share thing doesn't do very good, and I have to redo it and reshare it. More free advertising from the local news station. This is the same fleeting of America in every city, county, and state. So fitting. Recovery, the biggest healthcare industry outside medical. Buckwheat. Extreme Blonde. If you're sharing your screen, you may have to share audio as well. Thank you, honey. Paulette Kelly. More or less. Let's see. That was just y'all telling me my sound was back on. Lovebug 53. No rumors here. Kentucky Rose. I truly hope the reasons come out for all of this. Me too, honey. Julie Farrell. Hit that thumbs up. Yes, ma'am. Anybody that likes the channel, please subscribe. Like the video. We're going to follow this trial. So jump on board. Let's see. Buckwheat. This guy's accusing others of what he is guilty of. Amazingly shameful, but without shame. Well, there's a whole lot that I want to say, but I'm afraid. This is happening across the country in that industry. You can easily Google, search it. It is greatly profitable with political kickbacks too. You got that right. Hello from Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Miss Tammy. Shay's Safe Place. What's the man's name that's speaking? That was Michael Clark, I think. I put all the links to everything in the description. So if y'all want to go look, you can see it. You can look up statistics there. Are extremely low success rates for treatment, somewhere between 2.5% to as high as 4%. Oh, I believe it. And look at all the money they're sinking in there. And it's all, it's all on the front end. Just like one of those articles that we read, the lawsuit, there's a couple women, I think they're women, who sued ARC as employees, as former employees, because they were not paid overtime, but yet they were on call 24 hours a day and weekends and all this stuff. They sued them for wage theft. So the ones down on the bottom, the ones on the bottom rung, they're not making no money. You know, they're I don't know what they are making, but I guarantee you it ain't much. It's all the big wigs that make all the real money. And that is just blows my mind. You bring in $130 million last year, and now you're closing you're because of the Medicaid cuts, they're starting to cut your money off, saying that you can't bill like this. Well, do the math. If they're billing allegedly they're billing $1,000 a day for in-house treatment, and it's a 30-day stay, one person is over $30,000 a month that they make off that one person. And if they're not staying, like old dude said he didn't stay but one day, how many people actually stay the full 30 days? I know a whole lot of them don't. They leave. I'd love to be able to see the reports and of their financials. And it's a for-profit business. It's not a non-profit. So they're not subject to the same kind of, or at least I don't think so. I don't think they're subject to the same kind of wage reporting that nonprofits are. Let's see. But I'm interested in what you all think. Found your channel recently and love watching you. But thank you, honey. Thank you for being here. I also live in Letcher County. My family lives there. It takes God to help with addiction. It does. It does. And when people use God and use the church to Pied Piper people in and guilt them and shame them and make people feel connected, you know, we all need fellowship. We all need fellowship. You know, I had never in my life felt in my heart and felt accepted the way that I did, and felt like a part of something, that I belonged. I had never in my life felt that until I found a church that I could go to and that I loved. And I was 37 years old before I found that church. Our pastor unfortunately passed away from COVID a couple years ago. The first year COVID got bad, and I've not found another one since. All I see, it seems like everywhere I go, it's just a bunch of musicians that needed an audience. That's how a lot of them are. That's how I feel a lot of them are. You got a lot of musicians that are really talented people, but they can't go to the bars and play because they're Christian. They can't go over here and play because they don't think it would be acceptable as a Christian. But they can go to church and play. Well, but if you're not careful, though, it all becomes about you. As a musician, if you're not really careful, then the show is all about you. It's all about the music. It's all about the talented musicians that are on stage, instead of about God and about letting people feel, I felt pushed out big time after my preacher passed away. I just never did feel the same kind of. We had a great church at one time. Oh, it was wonderful. But, you have to be careful. You really have to be careful because you only know people for what they let you know of them. People wear a mask most of the time. But they can't keep that mask up forever. Eventually it'll slip. And if you're paying attention, you'll catch it. I think that's pretty much anywhere and everywhere, though. I'm not just applying that in church. I think that goes to anybody in any industry or community. My preacher's name was Freddie Johnson, and he was a wonderful man. Rest in peace, Freddie. Bless him, Jesus. All right. Well, we've been on here long enough. You guys, I sure appreciate you coming and being part of it and listening. And I'm anxious to hear what everybody else thinks about it. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your evening. Happy Friday. Have a nice weekend. But I'll get on here and I'm going to do some Speak Your Peace stuff too. All right. Well, you have a good evening, y'all. God bless you. Bye-bye.